And let's hope I don't start a flame war. So this is something that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a little while because I see a lot of different things on YouTube and even in my own personal life. There's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of difficulties that people have in the event that, the subject of magic, paganism, witchcraft, whatever, comes up, or, even in recent events with having, gay marriage being legalized, or, the fight over abortion and defunding Planned Parenthood because abortion is the only thing that they're good for. If you look at the statistics, it goes way beyond that. But I'm not stepping into politics here. Not too much, probably. The whole thing between, or the debate between magic and religion. I grew up in kind of a religious household where, I went to Catholic school until I was in 6th grade. Thankfully, I got moved into public school. Good thing for me. Although the only thing that Catholic school, in my opinion, is good for is good grammar and, literacy skills and math facts and stuff like that, because my spelling was way above that of my peers when I got into high school, or middle school and high school. Anyway, so the whole debate between magic and religion, where, religious people like to say that people like us, or people like me, anyway, not to assume anything about viewers, are going to hell. Now, there's many different ways that you can attack this argument. One of the ways that you can, or the way that Christians like to do it, is looking at the King James Bible saying, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." But if you look in the historical facts, you can see that popes used divination in the past, and also, before the King James version of the Bible, it actually said, "Thou shalt not suffer a thief to live," but it was changed to support the blaming of pagans, who technically were people that lived outside of city limits, blaming them for the plague. Of course, everybody knows that, it's caused by rats and fleas and junk like that. And to fuel the blame game, much in the same way that Hitler blamed the Jews, Christians blamed pagans for the atrocities and the downfalls. And then you have, the entire thing on the Malleus Maleficarum and the witch trials and all that. I actually wrote a paper on it when I was in college for a deviance class, on how witchcraft was, or used to be seen as deviant and now is kind of more accepted. If anybody wants a copy of that, I would be happy to share it. But my biggest qualm is the whole, you're going to hell because, unless you turn to God, you're gonna, you're not gonna have your soul saved. There's, the biggest thing that I like to say is, well, because I don't believe in the same God that you do, then I really don't have to worry about that. And they're like, well, you're wrong, and my thinking is my path, or paths that I do follow, are older than yours, so I think you're the one that's wrong. Now, to go along with that, when it comes to beliefs in afterlives or whatever spiritual system somebody has, I tend to bank on the fact that I follow a very, very old system, like the Enuma Elish and the the entire Sumerian, Babylonian pantheon, stuff like that. But, of course, Christians, Jews, whatever other paths there are, of course, they don't. Now, I like to think that because the stuff that I believe in is older, it has a little bit more merit, because that's what people believed in way back when. I could be wrong. Christians could be wrong. Somebody could be right. I could be right. They could be right. It really doesn't matter to me, because it's not like we experience the afterlife until after we're done with this one, and I'm not going to really sit around and support a faith or a belief system that doesn't feel comfortable to me. And that's the biggest thing that I don't like about getting into debates with other people of other belief systems, is the fact that the fighting just doesn't stop because people aren't as accepting. If somebody else has a different belief than you, does it really bother you that somebody else believes differently? I know that you care about their soul or whatever. It's as if I'm talking to, a monotheist. Sure, you might care about their soul or whatever. They care about their soul too, and they are treating themselves and their soul the way that they want to. and you are doing what you want to. If your beliefs are different, great, but don't shove it down other people's throats. One of the phrases that I like to use with the whole gay marriage thing, or any of the other, or even things like abortion or whatever, trying to impose your beliefs on somebody else and say, I don't believe in abortion, so I don't want anybody to have it. It's the same thing as telling your friends that they can't eat donuts because you are on a diet. Honestly, the whole debate kind of boils down to people are going to do what they're going to do, and unless it actually affects you as a person, then you really don't have much to say about it. I mean, I don't want to tote any patriotic jazz or whatever, but land of the free stuff, I get to do what I want, you get to do what you want. And there's a lot of support for the fact that America was not founded on Christian values. It was founded on religious freedom. And even the founding fathers said that Christianity really has no base in government, that it would be a theocracy. And I think it kind of does step into theocracy a little bit, having, in God we trust on the dollar, and, one nation under God in the pledge, which I don't think was there until the 1950s, and same thing with the money. With in God we trust being on the money, I don't think that occurred until somewhere in the 1800s. Feel free to fact check me. I'm having a lazy Saturday, so I'm really not into wanting to do the research and stuff. I'm just talking off the top of my head. But like I was saying before, with different belief systems, unless it's honestly bothering you in a way that affects your life, like takes away your rights, unless it does that, then you really have nothing to complain about, and you're just ruining somebody else's day because you don't want somebody else to have something that you yourself can't have. I think I'm just going to jump into this a little bit. I thought not to, but it just seems too much fun. When it comes to Christians talking about following the Bible and following what Jesus taught, I've gotten into a couple of debates with people where some people say that Jesus never said anything about Christianity, and I brought that point up. Somebody responded to me citing a passage in the Bible where he talked about Jesus not liking anything outside of the confines of traditional marriage, and that's all he said. If you go into the interpretation of that, you could say, sodomy, homosexuality, stuff like that is what he was talking about. But all we have is a couple of lines that were written by other people, not by Jesus. So you could say it's divinely inspired, sure. But human nature, when we write things, we put a little bit of our own personality into what we write. We kind of pepper it with the way that we describe things, the way that we word things, the way that we paraphrase things. And saying that Jesus didn't like anything outside of traditional marriage, great. He could have just meant don't have premarital sex. He may not have meant that homosexuality was bad. Homosexuality has been around for thousands of years, even in animals. I mean, in Sparta, for example, the Spartan military men would have homosexual relations with each other. It was a way of building bonding. I believe that rats also engage in homosexual behavior, and penguins do too. Anybody see those two male penguins with the pebble as an egg? So there's a natural bias for it, and I really don't ever again want to hear that homosexuality is a choice. I mean, wouldn't that kind of go along with saying that being straight is a choice too? I don't really think it's a choice. Like, me personally, I could never be homosexual. Just can't. I love my fiance too much, and, females are pretty. Now, where I was going with this, if they want to cite specific passages in the Bible as a way of dictating how lives of everyone on earth should be run, well, let's see, Christmas ham, God was against the eating of ham, pigs, bacon, can't have that. Wearing clothing of two types of cloth, like my hoodie back there, which is cotton and polyester, that's against Leviticus. Also, the whole thing about when to eat fish and when to eat meat, I'm trying to remember what that is about. I don't think you eat meat or fish after Lent or something like that. That's a thing that a lot of Christians follow, which I think came from the Bible, or it's just tradition in that way. But that was because of a food shortage several hundred years ago. Like I said, I know a lot about these details, but I don't know the exact specifics, so feel free to fact check me. I love to learn more. By the way, let me talk about a couple more things. Yeah, I know. I have a wolf tail. Deal with it. So I was down in North Carolina at the 3 Days of Light Festival at the end of August, and I taught a workshop on the Necronomicon and using the Necronomicon's astrology and the way that they described the planets as deities and the whole gate walking system as a way of changing your life. It was very fun, and before that, my friends that made this from Emerald Owl. You can check them out, emeraldowl.com. Screen printers, whatnot. They made me this. Well, it's a white hoodie with the Necronomicon seal on it. See if I can get a good shot. Yeah. Like I said, with all the different tools and stuff, you can kind of mix, match, and find somehow to make them. For example, I chose the white hoodie because you're supposed to have a white robe. Now, I'm not going to walk around all day, every day with a robe on, but for doing rituals and stuff, a white hoodie kind of works, you know. So that would be the second event that I've taught at, and I have one at the Pagan Pride Day here in my state in October, and that's also going to be good too. I know that if anybody noticed my shirt change, that's because the first part of this video I made about like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I didn't get around to it because I've been doing like job searching and a lot of running around and errands, and we even revamped the whole house and cleaned it and whatnot, reorganized stuff. I think that shelf looks a little cleaner to me. You guys might think it's still a mess, but you know, organized chaos. Hopefully I made a couple of good points in this video, and any replies and stuff, fantastic, but I really don't want to start a flame war. You agree with my views? Great. You don't? Sure, engage me in a discussion, but I kind of don't want to hear that I'm going to hell, because you could believe that. Great. If I go there, I might have some fun, but I really don't think it exists. Anyway, I'll see if I can make another video this weekend sometime, because when the cat's away, the mice will play, and I am alone for the weekend. So, good hunting, guys.